Hi guys, so this is it. This is number 1000, the 1000th public video on my channel, which is pretty incredible. And it got me thinking about, well, past and future of this channel, and I thought I'd just do a, trip down nostalgia lane and a kind of contemplation of where to go from here. Basically this channel, past, present, and future. Because I was really just looking back at the videos I'd made and realizing how unlikely this channel was. For instance, the only reason the channel exists is Nexus didn't have any functionality for uploading videos, and I wanted to showcase my own mod, my Fallout 3 mod, the Advanced Recon gear. And I made this fairly terrible video actually, showcasing this gear. No voice, because I was absolutely convinced that if I put my voice on it, people would not want to use the mod and would run screaming from the video. And it was made with Windows Movie Maker, the free movie program. And basically I needed to host it somewhere, so I hosted it on YouTube and then embedded it on my page. And that's how this channel started. And I really never gave much thought to the actual channel itself, to the fact that I'd suddenly become a YouTuber. I was still a mod maker, that's all I did. I spent way too much time making mods. I mean, the Advanced Recon one probably got over 1,000 hours on that one series of mods. I mean, it was over a long period of time, lots of changes, lots of transitions, and that was the series of mods where I learned mod making. So, but yeah, I mean, a huge amount of time on that. And actually, for the first year of the channel's life, that's all I used this channel for. I got 2 or 3 other videos showcasing my New Vegas mods, things like the Cinematech, Immersive HUD, and so on, and that's literally it. So if you look at the first year, there were very few mods, very few videos on the channel at all. And you could actually say that the genesis of this channel started in the summer of 2011 when I started my modding Fallout New Vegas series. I'm not sure if those of you remember that, but again, I didn't really approach those videos as YouTube videos. I intended to put them and upload them to Nexus and have people download them. But Nexus had really restrictive file sizes. So I had to upload them to YouTube for the high definition versions, because I knew people would want the high definition versions. And so that's what I did. And again, that's the only reason they were there. I was going to actually host them as downloadable files on Nexus. I thought that would be a better way to do it, because I thought I could have longer videos and they'd be higher quality. Back in those days, YouTube said no, you can't have more than 15 minutes, and it wasn't renowned for being good quality. But then I found out it was high definition, so I thought, well, you know what, I'll upload them there as well. But again, I had no idea that the videos were going to be popular or get people following me. I made those videos because I had such a large number of mods in Fallout New Vegas that I was answering the same questions over and over again, and I was having to provide a lot of support for mods I didn't even make, because a lot of my mods would require compatibility, or you had to do it right to get it working with my mods, and so on. And so in the end, I just made this series because I thought to myself, well, I'll have these videos, and then when people ask, I can just link to the video rather than having to write it. It'll save me time. Again, no idea that people would actually go along to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch the videos there, and like the videos themselves. I thought people might see the videos as useful, but that was about it. And my intention was that was it. 9 videos. Finished, done, never make another video again. But I was really surprised by the response I was getting. People were saying, no, don't stop, keep making them, keep making them. And so I decided to start the Fallout New Vegas Mod Clinic series. And that series was the first series of videos. That was, the first part of that. That was the first video where the intention was to make a YouTube video that people watched on YouTube. In a way, I think it was September 2011. That was where my channel really was born. That was where it finally dawned on me that people wanted me to make videos, not just mods. And back then, I think I had something like, it was like 300 subscribers, and my videos would get sort of 700 views, and I was over them, and I couldn't believe this many people wanted to watch my videos. I was absolutely amazed. And it stuns me to think of that. Back there with 200-300 subscribers, and I was completely over the moon. I couldn't get over that people wanted to watch my videos, and the fact that I really did enjoy making these videos as well. But then, of course, the 11th of the 11th of that year, Skyrim came out, and that's when things got really, pretty busy. I released Skyrim Mod Sanctuary Part 1, and, the name was supposed to be a similarity to the Mod Clinic, and, the aim was to show people mods, but to show them how to get them working and so on. It wasn't just a mod showcase. And it was a bigger hit than I could possibly imagine. It was basically showing people how to install mods using Nexus Mod Manager, and my subscriber base went from, I think it was about 500 when Skyrim came out to a few thousand within a month or so, and it really did start to climb. I mean, I remember getting to 5,000 subscribers. I think I did that before 2011 was over. And I just couldn't believe it. It was surreal. It really was. The funny thing is back then I was still spending a lot more time making mods than I was making videos. I mean, most of you probably don't even remember it, but I was making one video a week. I was just making a Skyrim Mod Sanctuary one time per week. So I would basically be spending probably one evening a week doing that video. It's just a small hobby on the side. Although, as I said, I was making mods as well, which was a slightly bigger hobby. Of course, it was a little easier to make the videos because, of course, everything was so new. I was trying out mods non-stop. And, of course, it was early days in modding, and so things were changing quickly. So there was so much material, and there were so many things that people wanted to be shown. So it was so easy to find things that people would like to see or needed to see. And I already had the material researched and tested just because I was playing Skyrim so much that one evening a week, knock out one video. And I did that up to about April, I believe. It was around spring of 2012. And the once a week video only changed, believe it or not, after I think it was part 21 of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. Nope, part 22. The episode when I covered the Asteria. And what I did differently that time was, instead of researching the mod and showcasing it, I basically installed the mod and then recorded myself discovering it for the first time, just as an experiment. And it really went down well. People really seemed to enjoy that type of video probably more than the other ones. And that's when people started to ask me to do Let's Play videos. Up until then, it never even occurred to me, absolutely never occurred to me to do that. In fact, the only gameplay video I had at that point was a Deus Ex HR game. I had a video called Saving Private Malik, the Pacifist Edition. And it was basically, I played Deus Ex Human Revolution a few times, and on my first playthrough I hadn't saved the pilot, and on the second playthrough, which I was playing a very brutal playthrough, I did. And I'd seen someone say that they didn't think it was possible to save the pilot and do the pacifist achievement, and so I went back and basically figured out how to save the pilot whilst not killing a soul. And it took quite a while. It was a bit sort of an obsessive compulsive moment, but that was it. That was my only real gameplay video, I think. It wasn't even a Let's Play. It really was just like this is me overcoming a challenge. But yeah, so this Asteria video really did make me start thinking, oh, should I try it? And so I did. I mean, it was about a month later or something. I started with the Steve playthrough. And I remember when I started it, I'd already decided to play the sort of character I would never play, which is one with using lots of followers. And because generally I like stealth characters, or I like lone characters, and I only usually use the followers to unlock quests and so on. So this time I decided, no, do something completely different, test a lot of mods that I would never have tested, for example, UFO, and play a character I wouldn't play. I've never really played sort of summoners, necromancer type characters. I've played an illusionist before, but... And then of course I made him completely unreasonable. Didn't like weapons but liked heavy armor. Was an orc but wanted to be a mage, and so on. Just, I mean, really just made him completely and utterly the opposite of the good build, as it were. And and I think that was so easily the best thing for me to do. I didn't realise it at the time, but making the character so odd really struck a chord with people, I think. And the fact that he did have such an odd personality, and yet really wanted to surround himself with the minions, the followers, and he did sort of care for them, did look after them. It caused a very good interplay. It allowed me to have a dialogue with the NPCs, which I've never done before, because, you know, believe it or not, when I play my games, I don't actually talk to the computer screen and the other characters. I try to immerse myself in the game, but there is something so much more immersive when you actually speak to the NPCs with your own voice. You feel more there. It's a weird thing. You could try it sometime, just don't do it when anyone's in the house, because they will think you're nuts. But again, I really didn't think the Let's Plays were going to be a thing. I really had intended to play maybe 30 episodes, finish the college quest, and that was really it. I mean, if you remember the end of chapter 1 of the Steve story, I did actually write the end, and then faded in of chapter 1, just to let people know I was going to do a chapter 2. But really, my original intent was to do 1, maybe 2 factions, and then maybe do another character or something. But everyone had really sort of almost fallen in love with the Steve character, who, you know, which is the oddest character to really like. And then carried on, and the rest is history, as you know. I mean, I just kept playing that character until I drove that save game into the ground. And here we are, a couple of years later, basically 2014, and 1,000 videos later. I mean, that is mind-blowing when I think about it. So, what is in store for the future of this channel? Well, I told you guys some time ago that I'd come to a point where I had to kind of make a decision. I really did. The channel was beginning to dominate way too much time. It was taking at least 25 to 30 hours a week, which, as you know, is way too much for a hobby. Definitely. Anyone who's got 25 to 30 hours a week to spend on a hobby, congratulations, you are extremely lucky. Especially if you have a family with kids and a full-time job. So as you can imagine, that sort of, it impacted things like social life, it impacted training, other leisure aspects, and so on. And I did have to sort of come to a realization that something had to change. I either had to relegate the channel back to being a hobby once a week, one evening a week, or I had to find some way of doing this full time. Basically taking it from 30 hours a week to perhaps 50 hours a week, and doing it full time and somehow trying to earn a living. And I mentioned this several months ago, and the first stage of that was I handed in my notice at my job. I'd got a lot of savings saved up, and I quit my job, and I took some time off to spend with my newborn daughter. And my girlfriend went back to work, basically. So that's what I've been doing for the last several months, and that is coming to an end soon. She's going to start nursery in the next month or so, and then I have to rethink, what am I going to do? Am I going to go off, get a new career? Because to be honest with you, I don't want my old career back. I don't want to be a programmer. Or do I devote myself to this channel. And what I've been doing over the last few months is, even though I've been looking after my daughter, I've been doing that about 50%, and I've been increasing the amount of time I spend on the channel. So I get about 20 hours during the weekdays, and then I spend about another 15 to 20 hours of my spare time just to see what it would be like to, ramp up the volume of videos, see what the reception was, and so on. And it's been very positive, obviously. I'm making the videos, people are still watching them, I'm enjoying making the videos, and that's the key thing here, because, to do this as a full-time job, I can tell you now, it's not the easiest way to make a living. Well, at least compared to what I was doing. I was a developer, a software developer, and it is a lot better paid. So, for this to work, it has to be just something I really enjoy. And as I cranked up the amount of hours, I kept enjoying it. So that's a good sign. So I've got to this point, and I've spoken to my family, and we discussed everything, and I have decided to give it a go, to try and make this my primary focus, this my career, basically, to increase the number of hours to about 50 hours a week. But that will be full-time. That will be, Monday to Friday mostly. I might do the odd evening, the odd live streaming or something like that. But, generally try and keep it to, 9 or 10 hours a day during the week. And then have my spare time with my kids and other things, that type of thing. And see if I can make a go of it. Now, it's not going to be easy, and as a lot of people probably already know, it's not a good idea to make YouTube your entire life. And so I've got to look at alternatives. I've got my own website, which I paid for 2 years ago. Still haven't got sorted out yet. And I noticed the Bro Duel channel got themselves a website. Kind of jogged me and made me feel terribly guilty. But there's plenty of avenues and things I can think of. But in general, I want to focus on mods, making videos for mods, and making entertaining videos, and see if I can, make a go of it. So basically, in the next couple of months, you should see a steady increase in the number of videos. Not a huge amount, because as I said, I'm doing close to between 30 and 40 hours a week right now. I'm going to crank it up to 50. What I'm hoping to do is, I think I've got the Let's Plays at a nice balance. I think I've got enough Let's Plays. I want to do more tutorial things, and perhaps more videos showing how to mod other games as well. So that type of thing. So I'm going to be increasing the volume a little, not a humongous amount, because I also think that would be counterproductive, and hopefully just focusing on getting more of the mod sanctuary type videos, but more technical, more tutorial type things as well. Of course, I could not do this without you guys, the subscribers, the viewers. It's a cliche to say it, it's corny as hell, I know, but it's also extremely true. This channel exists because you will it to exist. I could make videos till, I drop dead. If no one's watching them, there's kind of no point, and there's certainly no way you make a living out of it. This channel exists because you guys want to watch the videos, and that, as far as I'm concerned, if I enjoy making the videos and you enjoy watching the videos, or you find my videos useful, to me that's the best case scenario. And as long as I can pay the bills, put food on the table, this is what I want to do. So for those of you that were worried I'd get to like 1,000 videos and completely burn out and say, oh, what I say, I'm giving up now. No, I'm afraid not. You're not getting rid of me anytime soon. 1,000 videos down, another 1,000 to go, and I hope you guys can join me for those. A big, heartfelt thank you from me for all your support, all your time, for the laughs, for the feedback, for the thumbs up, for the subscriptions, just basically for everything. Thank you very much. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, I have to say it this time, have fun.